What's up, everybody? Will Carroll back here again with Bleeding Priest Bay Area Metal Spotlight. And it's been a minute. It's been long enough where my beard's back. How about that? But the band I'm covering today is one of my old bands, and not necessarily a metal band, but absolutely heavy, and one of the heaviest bands I've been in, actually. And that is the Cutthroats 9. And I'm going to be covering our second release. This is the EP called Anger Management. It came out in 2002, I believe, on a label called Reptilian Records. And it's one of my favorite recordings I've ever done. I think the drums came out great. They sound fantastic. It's one of my favorite snare captures I have on tape. This was recorded at the record plant in Sausalito, so that's why it sounds so fucking good. I mean, that's as big as it gets for high-end studios. I mean, Metallica's recorded there, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors was recorded there. So we were working with some high-end stuff and a beautiful, beautiful facility. The room, the drum room I tracked in was huge, high ceilings, just sounded amazing. And yeah, it was a thrill to be there for the short amount of time I was there. You might think, or might ask yourself, how the hell did the Cutthroats 9 get an opportunity to record at such a prestigious studio? And, well, there is a story to that. A friend of ours was an intern there, and he snuck us in on the off hours where there was no band scheduled to record. So between sessions, he snuck us in one day, and it was a rush job. At least for me it was. I got in there, set up my drums. I believe I tracked in the same room where Son of Rumors was recorded. He even took us on a tour of the place, and like the same rugs are there from back in the 70s when Fleetwood Mac recorded there, and the same piano. And it's a huge place, a lot of different rooms, a lot of ancient gear, and a lot of high-end new technology that I didn't even know what the hell I was looking at. So it was a good combination of the old and the new. But anyways, he snuck me in on off hours there, and we had to be there. We had to do it really quick, like in and out. We couldn't be discovered because he would have gotten a lot of trouble if the higher ups there found out that he snuck a band in, and he's only an intern, for Christ's sake. So we set up my kit, mic'd it up, got some tones, and we were having trouble with the playback. Like, I couldn't hear the music in my headphones to track to, and that was taking some time. It was eating up a lot of time. And I eventually said, fuck it, I'm just going to track my drums from memory. So I didn't even wear headphones when I tracked. He hit record, said go, and I played all 6 songs pretty much there, like on the spot. Maybe did a couple of songs twice, but most of this EP is first take, and I have to pat myself on the back for that, to be quite honest, because that's pretty fucking hard, tracking 6 songs from memory. And I remember Chris Spencer. I should do a little explaining about this band. The Cutthroats 9 is a band that was comprised of me on drums and Chris Spencer from the Insane on guitar and vocals. Unsane had just broken up, and Old Grandad had just kind of went on a hiatus. So right when him and I met, right when those two bands were falling apart. So it was meant to be, I suppose. I met him at a Neurosis Voivod show at the Great American Music Hall. We ended up doing a bunch of speed that night and partying all night. And next morning or next afternoon, we were jamming in my studio. So it was a very rapid pace, that band. Like, we had a whole album written. Our first debut album was written within a couple of weeks of meeting each other. So it was a rapid pace. Yeah, so that's what the Cutthroats 9 was. We had various bass players. This album is the original bass player, Mark Laramie. Anyways, so when I was tracking these drums from memory, Chris was in the sound booth, in the control booth, playing the guitar. Even though I couldn't hear it, he was just playing along for like visual aid, which helped actually. So I did have some aid, but I wasn't hearing anything, you know. And so yeah, I tracked these 6 songs in like, I don't know, an hour or something, and I was out of there. I was in and out. One funny thing did happen when I was there, though. When they were miking stuff up and, there was time to kill, I remember our buddy Billy, the intern, told me, just keep a low profile, don't talk to anybody, don't roam around too much. And, Will Carroll of 2002, that's that went in one ear and out the other. So I was walking around and kind of making my presence known. I went into like this like lounge area where they had a Galaga machine, a tabletop Galaga machine. And there was a guy on there playing, and, like, time was precious, like I wanted to get a game in before I had to track drums. And he was playing and kicking ass, and I may have said something to him or to somebody, but he stopped mid-game and got up and just looked at me and said, "Good luck." And he walked away, and I looked down at the score, and it was the highest Galaga score I'd ever seen in my life. Like, there was no way I was going to come anywhere close to beating it. And I was told that guy was the drummer for the Dave Matthews Band. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I was told. Because I went back to the booth and told Billy, I think I upset someone in the lounge gaming room or whatever you call it. And I described who the guy was, what he looked like, and he's like, I think that was Dave Matthews' drummer. So, anyways, fuck him. So yeah, I did my drums really quick, and Chris did all of his other parts. I don't know if he did them at the plant or if he did it somewhere else, but this came out great. I love the way it sounds. The label Reptilian Records put it out on blue vinyl. Look at how cheap this packaging is, huh? But blue vinyl, 10-inch, and this was the first vinyl I was ever on, so it was very, very special to me when it came out, and it still has a good amount of significance to me now, first time being on vinyl. And this record goes for a lot of money now. Not many of these were pressed, and there was no reissue of it or anything like that. So these go upwards. This EP goes upwards to like $70, which is a lot for a 10-inch EP in my book. So yeah, I'm super proud of this. Cutthroats toured like maniacs for this record. We did like a 7-week tour with High on Fire. That was the best tour we did. It was High on Fire, us, and Lost Goat opening, another local San Francisco band, great band. So that was fun times. And maybe we're not metal, but we were certainly a heavy fucking band. And we were recognized by some of the people, respectable people in the metal scene. I remember Eric Peterson of Testament actually saw the Cutthroats play at the Pound with High on Fire, I think. And he talked to me after the show about maybe Cutthroats doing a show with Dragon Lord or something. Like, at that time, he was doing Dragon Lord and Testament were kind of in limbo. But one thing that did pan out with the metal community and the Cutthroats 9, we played the second to last show that Paul Bailoff ever did with Exodus. His last show in San Francisco ever. Exodus did like a low-key kind of unannounced. Well, it was announced. There was flyers made for it, but it was supposed to be a low-key thing. Exodus did a show at Lucifer's Hammer at the Covered Wagon, which is pretty fucking crazy that Exodus played that little ass place. And the Cutthroats supported him, and Decapitator, Matt Harvey's thrash band, opened. And I do remember a lot of the regulars from Lucifer's Hammer hemming and hawing about why the Cutthroats 9 are on this bill and why the Cutthroats are supporting and we shouldn't be there. And there's a lot of the Lucifer's Hammer folk were up in arms about it. And, all I have to say about that is Gary Holt requested us personally. Okay? He saw us play somewhere or heard us, and he asked for the Cutthroats 9. So, fuck you. Nah, but it was a great show. I do remember how the Cutthroats got this gig. I used to party at a house that Gary used to party at as well, and we got to being chummy, and him and Chris Spencer hit it off as well, and maybe we played our first album to him, but I think he saw us live, and he asked for us to play that show, so that was an honor. And unfortunately, Paul Bailoff played one more show after that, I think in Sacramento, and then he was gone. So that's a tragedy. But yeah, so there's history with Cutthroats in the Bay Area metal scene. And since this EP's come out, we've been playing shows sporadically. We'll go away for 5 years and come back and do a tour or play some local gigs. And we did record one more album many, many years later. That came out like in 2013 or 14. And it's good, but doesn't compare to this. This was our peak for sure. And the songs are really fast on this. You could tell we were high on speed a lot for a lot of this recording and songwriting and all that shit. That's just the Cutthroats way at the time. But yeah, if you want to hear some really heavy, unmetal stuff, you should check this out. Hard to find. The CD's hard to find as well. But yeah, it's out there somewhere. But I will see you next time with something purely metal to talk about, I promise. All right.